Hey, it's Ryan from Upfit Supply, and today we're going to be installing TigerTough seat covers in our 2016 Ford Transit Connect. Let's get into it. All right, the first thing you need to know about the Transit Connect, at least with this generation of the Transit Connect, is there's a couple different options for the front seats. Our particular model has the fold flat seat, passenger seat. So there's this little lever here that you can pull up, and then this whole seat folds flat. And some of the models don't have that, and so it's going to be a different seat cover depending on which model you have. And so just take that into account when you're doing this installation. It's going to be pretty similar between those variations, but you know, ours is going to be slightly different. First thing we want to do is just prepare the vehicle by moving this kind of up as far as it can go. And we want to take this headrest out, and you know, once we get this all the way, there's a little push tab here. Once you get it all the way, it's just going to stop. So to get this out, you got to use this push tab to release, and then there's a little kind of inset button on this side that you can't get with your fingers. So just have a little screwdriver here to push this in. It'll release on that side. Push that in. We're going to start here with the seat bottom, and then we'll move to the seat back, and then we'll do the headrest last. And so the first thing we need is our bottom seat cover. It looks like this. It's going to have some Velcro flaps on the back, as well as some on the front here. So the back of the seat cover is where these two strings come out on either side. And so we want to tuck these two flaps in to the back. The nice thing about this fold flat is if you push this up a little bit, it opens up a gap there. Makes it really easy to get these through. Now, these are a tight fitting seat cover, so it's going to take some maneuvering and pushing and pulling and all of that to get it in place. And we want to make sure that these little strings here go between the fabric of the seat and the plastic trim on the side. We're just going to push this through so that it goes to the back. Again, got a little cheat here in this van. Then on this side, there's plastic trim on this side of the seat bottom. We actually want to tuck this in below that plastic trim, and then do the same thing with our string. Push this back in between the seat bottom and the trim there. Just gonna do some tucking in here quick. Now back here, my two flaps have come through. Then I want to take my two strings here and want to tie a loop. So as you can see, I've given myself a nice little loop here. And then my other string right here is going to go through this string here. And then I'm going to tie it nice and tight. This as tight as I can. And then this is what's going to kind of create a nice, almost like elastic band around the bottom of the seat to keep this cover from shifting and moving. So this does go underneath this flap here. I'm just gonna pull this nice and tight underneath here, as tight as I can on both sides. Slide this underneath the sides here. We're good to go. Now I'm gonna pull these through. And this flap is going to go on top of the front flap. I'm just going to try and get a little bit of contact. And from this angle, I'm going to try and pull it a little bit tighter. Get as much contact with this Velcro as I can. Underneath the seat here to see what's happening. All right, now we're gonna move on to this seat back here. One thing to know, I forgot to mention earlier, is each of these covers is labeled with passenger and driver, so just make sure that you're choosing the right one. The passenger label is on the front side of this back cover. You can also make sure this TigerTough label and little airbag is gonna be on this side. You got an airbag tag here on the seat. You got one right here. Just want to make sure that those are in the right position. You know, ours makes it easy because there's this cutout here for our little lever for the seat back. So we're actually going to want to take this and turn it inside out. About 3/4 of the way inside out. It's just a little bit easier to get it over top of the seat this way. And try and find our holes at the top here. And we're going to slip it on top. Let's see, right here. We're in position. And while I'm here, I'm just going to tuck this underneath. Tuck the seat cover underneath these little posts here, just so this doesn't slide around and all that. You can do that later, but that's just going to help me. Now up front here is where we're gonna have the biggest flap. Again, because we have this fold flap feature, makes it really easy for tucking this underneath here. And we're gonna secure it in the back. So you can see back here, I've got the back flap here. This is my front flap. I'm just gonna secure it in place. So I'm gonna take this, fold it up here, and attach these two Velcros. Now these headrests, I find it easier to attach them if you put the headrest back in position first. Then you take your labeled cover. These are pretty easy to flip right over. Pull through on the back, like so, and trying to do this with one hand. Get that Velcro right up there. Okay, now on the driver's side, we're gonna do the exact same thing, just gonna do a little prep. I'm gonna move this seat all the way up. Now on this particular seat, there is a, I can push this down, it makes the seat lower, pull it up, and it makes it higher. We want it all the way up, and again, we wanna take this out. Pushing it into that tab, it's gonna release, get my headrest on. So again, I'm gonna start here with the bottoms. I wanna make sure that my bottom says driver on it. Your little, what do they call this? String lock device. Might be a little bit easier just to remove that for now. We're gonna use this later when tightening up the seat cover. We're gonna do a very similar thing as we did on the passenger side, but there is one thing you need to do with this model. Some models you have to do on the passenger side as well, but you actually need to detach this existing seat fabric from the van, and there's just a couple of clips down here you can undo. Hopefully you can see that. I'll be able to fit my straps right through the back of the seat here. All right, so I'm gonna do a very similar thing that I did on the passenger side. I'm gonna slip these through the back. So again, we want this to go in between the trim and the fabric of the seat. And we want these strings to go through the back here as well. Pull that through on the other side. You want to make sure that I get this on the right side of the seat belt. See, I've got these, got my two strings underneath here. So here is where the string lock comes into play. First, I want to try and pull these as tight as I can. Then on the end of these, there's just a little hole. I'm gonna stick one side through. It's gonna pop out the bottom here. Pull this, just kind of get through here, and I'm gonna secure this one in place. If you kind of pull it tight, locks into these little channels. I'm gonna take my second side, push it through here. And it's gonna come out the bottom. And then I can really pull this tight. As tight as I want to get it. Actually, I want this to go under the seat here. I can really get this tight. Nice and tight. This is going to keep the seat cover from shifting around. Now I'm going to take these front flaps, I'm going to push them through to the back. Again, I want to go over top of that little bar there. This is the lever to move the seat backwards and forwards. I'm going to go over top of that bar. Everything else, this can go over top of. Like, you don't need to worry about going underneath that bar. You can see that. Just wanted to go back there. And I'm just going to try and get a little bit of contact with this Velcro. Blessing and curse of Velcro is it sticks to stuff. All right, so I've got my Velcro straps in place here, nice and tight. So moving on to the seat backs, again, I want to make sure I've got the right cover, driver, airbag label, is going to go this way. And I want to turn this about 3/4 of the way inside out. I'm going to take this flap right here, push it through to the back. I'm actually going to take this factory flap here and fold it in upwards so it stays out of the way. All right, so here are my flaps. And I'm attaching the seat bottom flap just to this strip of Velcro right here. I'm going to pull this one. These long tails, there's some Velcro exposed to our seat bottom underneath here. I'm just going to pull these down and attach. Helpful to put in the headrest first. So thanks for joining us for the installation of these TigerTough seat covers in our Ford Transit Connect. If you're looking for these seat covers or any other equipment to make your van work ready, check us out at upfitsupply.com. Again, my name is Ryan, and have a good one.